How are we getting on, folks? I think it's safe to say today was one of the better days. Well, in terms of the start, it couldn't have started really better with the first three both in um, between the first two in Leopardstown and the first in Killarney coming in and doing the business for us. Realistically, that was a great start to the day. Obviously, Mr. Tambourine Man, 11-2 winner. Edge Eagle Field, 15-8 winner, and Maker of Kings, a 15-2 winner. So, in terms of, I suppose, overall profit and everything else like that, the first three we were definitely well set up for the day. Very, very unlucky in the last race in Leopardstown. The big price drifted out to 80-1. Completely missed the start, but I definitely think this lad is definitely well suited to 1 mile 4. He stayed on like an absolute train. Just a pity he didn't break well. Otherwise, he more than likely would have won. He came from the back of the field and just made light work of them. And he, by the time they were about 20-30 yards after the finish line, he was right up on top of them and even ran past him. So in terms of whether he had the capabilities of winning there today, I definitely think he did. Keep him very close to your chest now, moving forward. He should be one definitely to be siding with. Moving on to tomorrow, we're just going to be covering Killarney. Fairly tricky cards, to be quite honest. I was looking through the whole list of races and everything else like that, trying to pick out the most likeliest way for the races to run. But a few of these have me head scratching, I will admit, and they do look very tricky races to try and call. So if you are going to be having a bet, I wouldn't be suggesting going hell for leather on them. But look, at the end of the day, it's up to yourselves. And sure, look, at hopefully we're on the back of plenty of winners by this time tomorrow. First race off the 4:35, and I will be starting with the nap of the day. For me, personally speaking, I am not necessarily fond of Dixie Flyer. I just think the weight really stepping into this company is going to be a little bit too much to ask for. 12 stone on its back. It looks to be catching them out a little bit. I really do like the look of Bucks Billionaire for Willie and Patrick Mullins, currently priced at 7-2, with 11 stone 6 on his back, a massive weight advantage. In my opinion, that is actually going to be the nap of the day. We're going to start off as we mean to go on, and hopefully Patrick Mullins will be on the back of a winner for us. If he isn't on the back of a winner tomorrow, we're in trouble. Simple as that. But look, at realistically, Dixie Flyer, it has the capabilities to progress, but being lumped with 12 stone really on its first run in fairly competitive company, like it's definitely tricky, I think. And I personally think that Bucks Billionaire just has that little bit more experience and a little bit experience in better company when just coming shy of getting its head in front. And I think that's going to be the winning factor of it tomorrow. Obviously, look at Willie Mullins in serious form. Puts him bang in contention, part-time farmer as well. Nah, it's hard to know really what part-time farmer is capable of. I don't think he's capable of beating Bucks Billionaire here. Lucky Tenor as well, very interesting. Mars Harper looks to be a fairly consistent sort. Jordan Bay is interesting. Winner last time out, well over 20 lengths clear for Liam Burke and Darragh O'Keefe. Obviously, Liam Burke is having a great season so far, but 12-1 might be a bit of each way of value. And I think if you are going to be going against Bucks Billionaire, the Burke charge is definitely the way to go. But just for me, Bucks Billionaire looks to be the one they all have to beat tomorrow. Now, moving on into the 5-10, and we have a very, very short price favorite in here, but arguably the class act of the race, Darver Star. I really don't know what to make of him anymore. I think he's gone downhill massively in terms of his overall retention of potential and capabilities and everything else like that. Is he valued there at 5-4? If he shows his true colors, he definitely is, but he's just turned a little bit unreliable now. His last 3 runs, they've been 7th, 7th, and 6th. I don't know. I don't think he's the horse he once was. But saying that, if he shows up any way, shape, or form like he has done in the past, he's definitely going to be coming in here with a serious chance. But the one that I'm particularly liking to take him on each way is the Rasso for Joseph O'Brien and Mark Walsh, currently priced at 7-1. There's money down for him already, backed in from 12s. A frustrating sort, to be quite honest. He's put in some very frustrating performances. In terms of a hurdler, he's a much better hurdler than he was a chaser. He only got a couple of runs over the chasing fences, but didn't necessarily light the world up, and he's been reverted back to hurdle since. But in terms of what he's beaten and what he hasn't, it's interesting here, the fact that there was one that I was looking at, he was ahead of the last day, and I'm just trying to find the race because he's got a list of seconds and a list of thirds. Whatever it was, he was ahead of Scarpetta anyway at one stage. I'm not 100% sure when that was, but I know I've seen that here. Scarpetta's 9-2. Obviously, look, at Scarpetta is a little bit frustrating as well and a little bit unreliable. But in terms of what can finish second, and that's really what I'm looking at here, what can finish second to Darver Star if Darver Star shows up like the Darver Star we've seen in Cheltenham last 2 years ago now at this stage. I think realistically Durasso is the one that's going to finish in second, and 7-1 still represents some each way value there. Look, it's a flip of a kind, and it's really a flip of a kind as to who is actually going to show their true colors here. An awful lot of these have questions to answer, and especially the favorite in here. That's why I'm trying to go away from him. But I think Durasso is the most likely horse that's going to put it up to him. Realistically, if he doesn't show his true potential, but I do think Darver Star is definitely the class act of the race. It's just which Darver Star shows up is the question. 540. This one here, keeping it plain and simple. Air Square should be winning this at 13-8. Realistically, an awful lot of these do need to improve massively to match the form of Air Square. Air Square has put it up to the likes of trying to find the one that is put it up to there, not recently, but it was Sace Gold. That's the one, and the Mean Queen. Both of those have turned out to be very, very talented swords. Obviously, Sace Gold has ended up being, I think it was a group grade 2 or grade 3 winner over hurdles from Michael Winters, and the Mean Queen, obviously a very, very talented sword over in America now with Kerry Bryan. But it was only 3.5 lengths behind that particular day. Put it up to most, like realistically, most of these, Sace Gold was really starting to come into form, and Mick Winters was really talking up Sace Gold at this particular time. Realistically, I think it doesn't meet anything of that sort of standard in here. Lunar Display is probably going to want the ground a little bit better than what is probably going to be. There's going to be an awful lot of rain tonight, apparently. So I would be avoiding that. The rest of the field looks bang average, to be quite honest with you. Mary Diane probably looks to be the main overall contender at 7-2, but it doesn't represent any sort of each way value whatsoever. Potentially Sweet Street, but again, I cannot see any of these beaten Air Square tomorrow. It looks to be the one they all have to be on. Moving on then to the 6-10, and there is a massive, massive gamble going on Snugsborough Hall at 6-1, backed in from 20s, and I can honestly see why. Realistically, it was just very, very unfortunate the last two times. Stayed on like a train in Aintree two times before last, and then obviously the last day in Punchestown when it was badly hampered at the start. Ran no sort of a race, couldn't run any sort of a race the way it started up, and realistically it was pulled up to give it another day, and I think today is definitely going to be that day. The money speaks for itself. 20-1 into 6-1. I think you could be doing an awful lot worse. I think you're definitely going to get some each way value there. And yeah, watch this lad. He's going to be well suited to Killarney tomorrow, and should definitely take an awful lot of stopping, to be perfectly honest. 640 is going to be my patron pick of the day, so we're not going to be covering that one. 710, a very, very competitive handicap chase. Realistically, an awful lot of these you could make serious cases for, but the one that I am going to be making my case for is two men that have a serious strike rate around this sort of a course. Enda Bulger and Darrow O'Keefe, the men in form. Shady Operator, 11-2, looks to be the next best of the day for me. Really liked the market move for it in the Ulster National last time out when it fell. Obviously didn't put in a performance that it was expected to. Coming in here, I can imagine that Enda Bulger is going to have this lad well primed. Obviously, Darrow O'Keefe got his first winner around here. I think it was on Ballyosheen in 2017 or 2018. I could be mixing up my dates now, but I'm nearly certain it was Ballyosheen. It was one of the McManus horses anyway for Enda Bulger. In a similar enough event like this, I think he's going to be a very, very hard man to stop. Darrow O'Keefe turns into AP McCoy around Killarney, whatever it is, I don't know. Darrow O'Keefe generally anyway is a very, very talented sort, but just around Killarney and Kilbeggan, them two courses, like, he just turns unbeatable. And 11-2 looks to be very, very nice price for him. I think he's well treated. Looks like he's got a lot of these two that he can get the better of, really, and 11-2 looks to be some sort of value there. Look, if you want to have an each way at that sort of a price, you can. I wouldn't turn you off it, but I definitely think he is going to be thereabouts in the finish. I think he's going to be slap bang right there, and hopefully he's going to get his head down in front at the line. Moving on then to the 740, and this one here is look, it should be a no bet race. Staker Wallace looks to be the one they all have to beat, but the one that I definitely would be taking him on with is Warrior's Tale for Eugene O'Sullivan and Miss Maxine O'Sullivan for Trevor Hemmings. Currently priced at 6-1. I think is a nice each way. When you look at the form this lad shown on his last run, beating the likes of Winged Leader, Blue Templar, Auvergnat, From Eden, A-Rated, Summer Lucky, Tree Loud Knox, All Hell Let Loose, Alpha Male, Bold Hero, and that's the list of horses. But it was a very impressive winner that time out. It showed its true it's well-being more so than anything else. But Staker Wallace has been a little bit unfortunate, really, coming up against the likes of Billaway and Bob and Co. But I don't know, Billaway hasn't really lit the world for me. And I just think 4-7 for Staker Wallace in here, it looks overpriced, and it looks very much overpriced. When you look at these two coming in here off the same sort of mark. Warrior's Tale was a very impressive winner for the Grand Sefton for Paul Nichols back in the day. And if he shows any sort of potential form like that, like like when he was really starting to get into his prime, 6-1 is massive value. I think. What sort of an each way will you get in this race? I don't think you're going to get much. You might get 2 places. Some neck. Hard to know what he's really got left. He meets an awful lot tougher opposition here, in my opinion, and realistically, it's going to be a big ask for him to turn the tables with Staker Wallace. But Warrior's Tale, on another hand, is definitely one that I definitely do like. Rewrite the Rules. My God, that horse has broken my heart so many times. When he gets to the front, he just decides to pull himself up. Now, showed a bit of a change of, I suppose, change of heart really last time out when it did go to win, but that was a very weak contest. He meets some very much tougher opposition here. It's all guesswork. Name says it all. It's guesswork with him. Don't know what sort of a horse will show up on the day. It's you're basically taking a chance at your own hand, really. And Space Oddity looks to be miles outclassed here. In my opinion, Warrior's Tale looks to be the best each way of the day. 8, 10, and the last one I am going to be tipping up here. I'm actually going to be tipping up something that I don't normally do and tip up the First Reserve with 100% at 7-2. I think the change of going is definitely going to be something that's going to pull out an awful lot of these. An awful lot of these look to be summer horses. Looking at the breeding and different things like that, they'd appreciate good ground. I don't think they're going to get it tomorrow. I think it's going to be on the side of soft, which will mean that there's going to be non-runners, and therefore the First Reserve is going to get in. It's well bred. Finished a very good second last time out in good ground, behind on Taifsha, who looks to be a fairly classy sort for Henry de Bromhead. An awful lot of the horses in behind definitely look to be interesting enough. The fact that it was well supported that day as well, just keep that in the back of your mind. It was very well punted in that particular day. It was actually one of the main gambles of the day. It was backed into 6-5 favoritism, but it just came up short behind on Taifsha. I think that this lad has the capabilities of beating this field realistically. I'm a big fan of Jetaway's progeny. Supreme Jet in here, more than likely rightly favoured. But if this reserve gets in, which I think he will, he's going to take a hell of a lot of stopping. 7-2 looks to be massive. You can guarantee if he gets in, he's going to be backed into odds-on favourite. There's no doubt about it. He looks to be one of the best potential gambles of the day, but it's all about luck and whether he gets in or not. But if he doesn't get in, look at Supreme Jet should be the one they all have to beat. But look, I'm going to leave it there. Very best of luck tomorrow. I hope you all got on board the first 3 races of the day there today. If you did, you're absolutely delighted, as well as that. We had Marshall as well. So 4 winners of the day. I'm happy enough with that. We were just unlucky with a few each ways that just didn't run any sort of a race at all. Millie in the middle, I was disappointed in the fact that it looked like it was going to be staying on for third. And then when the second ended up falling, then as well, it looked like it was going to finish up in second or third anyway, at least. But just pulled up coming into the straight. But look at this is racing. These things do happen, and look at hopefully we'll be able to keep this good run going. And the very best of luck tomorrow. Actually, before we go, for the newcomers in here, if you want to sign up to the Patreon, it's €10 a month. Basically, what that gets you is all like. It gets you entered into the monthly draws and everything else like that. But unfortunately, like this month, we have the draw already done. But you'll get the tips and everything else like that from myself and Ryan from the Irish Racing Hour. It's there to fund that podcast. Basically promotes Irish racing and gives airtime to the people that deserve it most. but get it the least, i.e., the small man and the stable staff, etc., etc., etc. But I'm going to leave it there for the second time now, second time lucky. Very, very best of luck tomorrow if you are going to be having a bet. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing as well. If the patron isn't for you, just hit that subscribe button down below. And look, at hopefully we'll be able to keep this good run going. All right, folks. Thanks again, and the very best of luck.